Hey everyone, what's up?
Hey.
We are doing I'm really excited. We're going to do an evaluation, share our own insights from taking the 5 love languages. If you're not familiar with that, if you've never heard of 5 love languages, I would we highly recommend that you check that out. So today we're going to discuss our results, our personal profile from taking the assessment. And then we're also going to talk about insights that we had, which we learned about each other from this. And then also most importantly, I think, is the actions that we can take now going forward with this information, how that shows up in our relationship and what we do. And hopefully it'll help you as well. So we have some things we want you guys to take away from this as well. So we would encourage you to go on. It's the number 5 lovelanguages.com is where you will go to complete that assessment. Do that, and you'll create your own personal profile. It'll give you your top 5 or your 5. There's only 5. So your 5 love languages, and it will order them for you. So definitely do that. We encourage you, once you do that, to get together with your partner. And whether you're with someone or not, if you're knowing this on your own, if you're single and you don't have a partner, you have someone in your life, it will benefit you as well. So this is not just for people, again, and Connected Couples is not just about couples. I mean, if you want to show up better in a relationship, or you're preparing to, put yourself out there, the more you know about yourself, the better off you're going to be going into that relationship. So get this information, apply it to your own life. And, what are you going to do? How are you going to act on that? What would you like to say about that, Chris?
I think, after being married for 20 years, we kind of knew what our love languages were,
right?
But there were some surprising things about them. So let's jump in. We don't want to have this go too long because we want you to hear about it, get inspired or motivated to take the test, and don't wait. Just do it so that you can start seeing changes and shifts in your relationship. So my number 1 was quality time. So I want to spend time together. I want to be heard. I want Doug to be present with me. And that's my number 1. My number 2 was acts of service. Number 3, words of affirmation. Number 4, receiving gifts. And my last one, kind of disappointing for Doug, but it is what it is physical touch. So what were your 5?
Sure. So my number 1, I'll just transition you just where she went. That was a great segue. My number 1 obviously was physical touch. And I say obviously, anyone that knows me, people that know me, I'm a hugger. I'm a very physical. Like when I talk to someone, I'll put my hand, I'll touch them like, hey, I see you, I understand you. And that is the essence of me. So I was 10 on that guy. So yeah, that was definitely my number 1. My second one was quality time. Which, Chrissy's number 1 was quality time. So the fact that my number 2 is quality time, which is a good thing. And then words of affirmation was number 3 for me, followed by acts of service. I mean, the disparity, my words of affirmation is a 7. So I go 10, 9, 7, and then acts of service and then receiving gifts those were both number 2. So they're actually kind of both tied for my bottom, acts of service and receiving gifts. So what I learned from that was, I appreciate when Chrissy does things for me. I absolutely appreciate that. But I am more about the physical touch. If she came out and she just, like when we're at a party and she just sits down next to me or sits on my lap or puts her arm around me or just even comes up and just like touches me, I'm like, oh, hey, you're here. That to me is such a nonverbal way to just connect to my heart, is through that physical touch. And why it's important to know that, because for Chrissy, I thought it was interesting. Yours was quality time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and physical touch being low, there's a tendency, you guys, that when you are so connected, your love language, that you expect that other people share that. And so, because I love physical touch, my natural assumption I make is, I'll show Chrissy that I love her because I know how much I love being touched. And that physical, and it's not just about sex, you guys. This is about holding hands. This is about, a touch on the shoulder. She comes up and she massages my scalp. Any type of that touch is connection. And so for me, I think, well, that's what cues me in. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to touch Chrissy. And Chrissy, what's that like for you when I come over? physical
I'm
touch
like,
thing.
why are you so handsy now? But I mean, he thinks that he's going to get more physical touch from me if he gives me physical touch. And that's not how it works.
Right.
You spend time with me, you connect with me, you make eye contact, you listen, you hold space, and then I feel the urge to touch. So, and Doug, also another thing is he does a lot of things around the house, which I really do appreciate. But I think he kind of realized, like, maybe you thought, I'm doing this for you, like this is, how I show love to you. Well,
making your life easier, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's number 2 for me, so it is nice, but it's not like my number 1. I mean, I kind of said to him, like, this is more for you, like you doing stuff around the house, like it's for everybody. What we do, the effort we put into each other and around the house and working and all that is for the family. But I said, maybe the stuff you do around the house is more for you. Like I'm grateful, but like that's not what I need to fill my love bucket. So we really got to have some good discussion around this. And so let's go to number 3 on our 3 points that we wanted to go over.
So once you get this information, you can sit and you have a discussion, you gain some insight from that, but then what are you going to do with it? In my opinion, talk is cheap. I can talk about all these things that I want to do and how I'm going to show up differently in our relationship and take these insights. But what do I do with that now going forward? And you have to remember this, what Chrissy just said a little while ago about how when I actually engage with her, I'm listening and I'm looking at her. I'm not distracted by a phone. I'm not looking at anything else. Like I am there with her. And the most important thing that's happening right now is my conversation with her. And when I do that, and it's not like I have an ulterior motive that I'm going to get physical touch from this. It's because I want to connect with her. But she did say that when I do that, then she feels like she is more wanting to connect and touch with me. So make sure you're coming from a place of that you want to be there for your person and you want to show up that way. Not, well, if I do this, you're hearing this a lot in the news, but quid pro quo. If I do this, then she's going to give me, if I do this, then you do this. It shouldn't be about that. It should be about helping your partner to feel good. Because I'll tell you right now, you guys, one of the things I've learned being in a relationship for so long is when I do for the other person and I come from that pure place of, man, I just want to see you be happy. And when you're happy and you have joy, that fills my cup as well. When you come from that place, you will get so much more in return than what you ever thought or expected. And just think about that, you guys, how it feels when someone connects with you. So if your number 1 is quality time, what does that feel like? Or it's physical touch. So how are you going to act on that? So I'm going to kick it to you, Chris. What do you, based off the insights you got, and I know none of that was really a shocker for you on me, but how are you going to show up from an action standpoint for me? And then I'll share with you how I'm going to show up for you.
I'm just thinking like, how about, okay. So you want me to share with you
like from your insights, like how you'll take action, because we're talking about now the number 3 is how do we act on it? Talk versus actions. What are some intentional things, I guess, that now that doing this assessment, you're going to be thinking about, okay, well, I want to connect with Doug. What am I going to do? And again, you guys,
I think mindfully, like thinking about, the physical touch, because I mean, I can go a long time without even a hug or hold hands or like any of that physical stuff. So I have to be mindful. Oh, maybe it's been a while. I should just connect or, so just being aware, mindful, like we haven't connected that way physically for a while. So, yeah.
And it's not just like a sexual thing, you guys. I mean, this is like when we're out with friends and we're out places or we're just in the store shopping. She comes and walks up and grabs my hand or puts her arm around mine and we interlock arms, or she just her hand on my back, or just that touch of, hey, I'm here with you. We're experiencing this. That's what I'm talking about. It's not just about sex with this, right? That is part of it, but physical intimacy is also, you can be intimate with someone just by sitting next to them, and you touch each other. I look at, like, our dog is hilarious. He'll come up and he'll swing around and put his back and his butt up against you, like, hey, I'm here. And that helps him feel safe and secure and know that he's with his group, right? His people. So for me, one of the things that I learned early on in our relationship with quality time is really making sure that I am listening to what Chrissy's saying.
If I have to repeat myself,
yes,
a couple times, no big deal. But more than that, it's like, dude, come on.
Yeah, so, that was
are you there? Are you listening?
Yeah, that was a steep learning curve. I have a tendency, and she knows this, and people that know me well know this as well. I like to talk a lot. You guys are learning that I like to talk a lot. I'm dominating talking right now. But sitting and listening and just being and understanding where someone's coming from and hearing them, just a head nod, like, I acknowledge and I hear what you're saying, is so important. Or even just like, rephrasing what they just said and stating that back to them. But man, just the act of not having any electronics around you and just listening. And one of the things I want to commit to in terms of action with Chrissy is, when she is talking to me, being very intentional with whatever I'm doing at that moment, just stopping and hearing what she has to say. And no distractions, anything. She's telling me something in that moment, and just listening and understanding and saying, and then coming back and saying, so what I understand or what I'm getting from this is, you're saying this, is that right? Checking in with her and just making sure that I'm right.
The other thing is, I notice, like, Doug does this, other people do this, is the person's talking, they're already thinking about what they're going to say to them, or after that person's done talking. It's like, it's okay if you forget what you're going to say to them. What's more important is that you actually heard them. So,
well, I mean, that's the thing, is, why am I thinking about what I'm about to say? Well, because I want to be heard. I just had this thought. Now I got to share it with her. And when I get excited, oh my gosh, when I get really excited and passionate about something, I'm just like jumping in, just talk, and sitting back and listening. And because, you guys, to be heard is such a rare thing in this world. And I'm not talking about just, oh, I heard what you said. Like, really being heard, really being understood is huge. And you've really helped teach me that, the importance of that. And I know it's been a steep learning curve. You can see the look on her face. Poor lady.
Our first love language for both of us has been the most learning that we've had with each other than any of the others.
Yeah.
Because the other ones, it's like we kind of do that. I don't know. I'm looking at it going, okay, yeah, it's the other ones we've kind of done, but I think the ones that we're learning from the most is our number one. So get clear on your number one. So can we move on?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So the question that you can ask after you know your love language is, asking your partner, if you have a partner, maybe once a week, on a scale from 1 to 10, where is your love tank? And this is from Dr. Gary Chapman. Is that his name?
Yeah. Dr. Gary Chapman.
That wrote the book, 5 Love Languages. He said, check in with your partner. And I thought it was funny how he said in an interview with Oprah, he'll ask his wife, what can I do to fill your love tank to get you to a 10? Which is kind of funny languaging, but that's something you can do. So I want to go ahead and wrap this up. We want to thank you for joining us. If you could take that test, that would be awesome. We would love to know your results and how we can support you in those results. And then if you could subscribe to our YouTube, we are doing a live YouTube right now, Instagram, Facebook. And let's see, we're just on all of these different platforms. So just trying to get the word out, help couples. So please share your insights, share your thoughts, and we are here for you.
Thanks,
and we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Bye. See ya. Bye. Do you want me to share it?
Yeah.